All right.
Well, you're moving.
Hey guys, what's going on? Chris here with Shughead Gaming, and with me I've got Ryan from the VR Grid. We are taking, yes, that would be the, this is your two Canadians if you guys didn't know that. Anyways, we are taking Bravo Team through its paces with the new update. They're calling it a big update, but it's not everything we hoped it would be, but we are going to jump in and we are going to try to break it and see if they improved any of the things we wanted. There is not full locomotion. Just know that going in, but there is turning, click turning, kind of, sort of. Anyways, guys, we're going to jump in and yeah, join us for some gameplay and some banter. We're going to talk shit. Ooh, she showed me her
Speaking of that,
phone.
you said two Canadians. You screwed up. We're more than Canadians, man. We're Edmontonians, both of us.
Oh, yeah, but like the rest of the world's like, what the fuck is an Edmontonian?
Yeah, what's in Edmonton? There's an Edmonton in the U.S., so someone might actually know.
Hey,
But
Carl.
that's not us.
Okay, well, for those who don't know where Edmonton is in buttfuck Alberta, Canada, Wayne Gretzky, Edmonton Oilers. There you go. That's West Edmonton Mall. These are the things we got.
we need a new reference so bad. So yeah, I'm going to carry on a conversation we started earlier with Preda. And what Shug had just mentioned is that, you know, it's amazing that Preda only sold 6,000 copies.
Yeah.
At the time I did the PSVR Life podcast, they had been AMA with Reddit. And yeah, shout out to Danthal. And at that time, they had said they had sold less than 2,000 copies. And before that, it had been months since the game's release. I gave it a fairly positive review, and I hate grinding games. I absolutely hate grinding games, but I thought, you know, like, it's still overall kind of solid. The grind is ridiculous, but the game still works. And the patch has fixed a bunch of stuff. But
Thanks for fella.
even at 6,000 copies, that's so crazy small, and a pretty telling sign of just how small the VR market can be at times. Like, it's nuts.
Yeah, and that's what, guys, you guys jumped in. We were talking a little bit before we got our game booted up. We were talking about expectations in VR and how people they wanted this to be COD. They wanted this to be Battlefield, and it wasn't, and people were pissed, and they revolted, and they were just, a lot of people were like, I'm still on my PSVR. And it was just, it's expectations that I think that might be the biggest problem that Sony and Oculus and HTC actually probably have, is that it's expectation management of people not understanding like the money it costs to make VR, the lack of return that is out there for people, for companies, devs that want to get into this, like Resident Evil 7 that everyone's like, why aren't we getting more of that? Sony paid for that game. They gave Capcom the money to make
Lewis
the VR portion. Lewis.
Yeah, and that's, like, you know, just to go to that point, there is I have this conversation earlier on Twitter, where Sony was funding these VR projects. Like Star Wars Battlefront is still, to me, one of the best VR experiences that exists today, and that was all Sony funded and Sony backed, and that seems to have stopped, which is kind of for me, a telling sign of where Sony stands with VR. They're not obviously abandoning VR. They're not. I mean, they're the biggest selling headset. They're not abandoning it, but I think they've kind of backed away just a bit.
Well, you know what? It's interesting. It's just to cut you off there. It's interesting that you say that because that came up in our chat today with guys. We have a bunch of us YouTubers usually chat shit about VR, and one of the things that came up was that exact thing about the funding. And I'm like, I wonder what Sony's funding that we don't know though. Like Astrobot, I bet you Air Combat. Or Ace Combat, I guess, is getting some funding. Like the Persistence, Star Child, are any, like, I wonder, like, some of these games makes you wonder, is Sony might not be backing away from it. They might just be being a little bit less vocal about what they're involved in because they just want to keep some separation there.
Maybe my counterpoint to that is, I mean, you mentioned Ace Combat. I mean, that game went from being full VR to partially VR to we don't know what the hell's happening with VR. Which to me sounds like Sony isn't backing shit there, because if Sony was backing VR in that way, they would honestly be like, yeah, no, but you know, the money would be there to make it full VR. And considering that they did early on announce like, oh yeah, the whole game's in VR, and then backpedaled, to me that tells me that Sony isn't backing nothing.
So here's what I call this. I call this the Gran Turismo situation, in the fact that they made a lot of promises early on, and this still happens with devs saying, "Yep, it's coming to PSVR," especially a couple years ago, before they realized like the limitations that the controllers were going to face and the power. There are devs that have come out, like the devs who made Wildcard, who made Ark Survival Evolved. There were one dev that came out very openly and said, "We could make this game for the pro, but Sony won't let us."
Yep.
And the devs of what the heck? I'm gonna just brain fart on this. Space sim that everyone wants to see in VR. I own it. What the hell is it called? Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do.
Yes.
There was some big patch today about it. Seraphim was just playing it today, I believe.
Not No Man's Sky.
No. I gave up on that one.
But I think that's another one actually. They're the same situation where I think that this. I mean, maybe No Man's Sky is going to make
same, Lewis. Same.
What's Lewis saying?
He's asking how this game feels.
And you think it feels the same?
Minus the click turning, which honest to God doesn't mean shit. Other than the fact I can just sit in a chair, this game feels like so far the same.
I feel like I read a couple of people's impressions, so now I've been being. I guess we should probably talk about that.
You're being influenced.
Yeah, I'm being influenced. I feel like the aiming is better. Like I'm hitting shit more accurately now. Like I'm tapping headshots, and I feel like I'm actually getting somewhere with it.
See, I don't remember noticing that problem so much when I played, but I am noticing the AI seems to actually be behaving a little more appropriately, which is supposed to be in the patch as well.
I heard that as well, and
I
also
seem to be a little more smart.
A little more smart.
Yeah.
There we go.
They're not quite as stupid. That's my Oh, I'm down.
I'm coming. It's just Ryan from the VR Grid. They're a little more smart.
Yeah. They're a little bit less dumb. I'm going to stick with those analogies.
How do I eel you?
I don't know, but you better hurry up. X.
Oh, I'm doing it, but I'm watching myself do it. That's weird.
Defibrillators for bullet holes. I love it.
That makes sense to me. Shh, don't think about it.
You're breaking immersion.
Yeah, I'm definitely finding the gunplay more satisfying. Like I feel like it's tighter. The guns feel proper size, which is huge. Like I actually feel like I'm playing a shooter now. Like I feel like I've got a gun in my hand with my aim controller, which is nice.
See, I think that's a problem with me because I've never I remember people even bitched about like Inpatient with like my hands are giant, not the stretchy hands. That's a different thing. But that my hands are giant. I never saw that. Maybe I'm not like a big giant guy. I'm actually pretty skinny and lanky when it comes to like arms and shit like that. I never really noticed that in games.
Impatient was fine for me.
Yeah, other than stretchy arms, I thought it was perfect. But a lot of people bitched about how big the arms were, and I was like, I don't see it. Like, am I missing something?
All right.
Oh shit, this guy's right here.
I don't. It's the little things, I guess. Like I'm enjoying this more. I don't know if it's just because I'm playing with you. But
it's totally just me.
Oh, I'm down.
I'm just kidding.
That's probably
You're down. Oh, you're up ahead.
Everybody you ever hear talk about this game, including, was it Polish Paul today, was saying, it's fun with a friend. Like the game, like you said, it's a little dry, and that was probably my biggest complaint about the game. But with a friend, it's still kind of a fun little like get in there and shoot. I mean, it's a wave shooter on steroids.
Like yeah, any game is better with a friend. That's kind of like, and I agree with you. I'm agreeing with you before I say it's a bullshit cop out for how to make a game better. Is that any game is better if you can play with a friend, even if the game is a piece of shit. Like Ranch Planet is like my best example. I had more fun playing with my daughter than I did by myself, and that game is a piece. Like that shouldn't be the saving grace for this game, and it's not. But you're right. It is absolutely better with a friend. When I did my original review, I played through the whole single-player campaign by myself, and then when I played with a dude, me and this other guy, I don't remember his name, it was way better with a guy. It was just way better to kind of... we actually coordinated and didn't just ramble on about VR, but it was good.
Well, here's a shout-out to this game, and just give this game credit. Look how good... I haven't gotten to the grenades yet, Raffaello. Yeah, there we go. I was gonna say, look down the bring the gun up to like the red eye and just like bring it close to your face. That is actually pretty fucking deadly. Like
Actually looks sharp. It looks way higher res than should be capable in the PSVR headset.
Not just that, but like it actually like I can bring it up. The gun's not breaking apart like a lot of guns did.
Yeah.
And
totally with the headset tracking.
It's actually not shaking too badly. The gun's shaking a little bit, but it seems like they've managed to keep the reticles stable. And like,
a little bit. I mean, I get a bit of drift, but you're absolutely right.
It's like I hate to say this, I'm gonna eat shit for this, but I actually think that they've done a better job of the use of that aspect than even Farpoint. To be honest,
shut your mouth.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Just that part. Just that part. Like bringing up the gun.
That's insanity. You're talking insanity right now.
I know. I'm just like lost 10 subs.
Well, I can't even compare. I haven't played Farpoint since like last November, so I can't even compare.
Oh. You know, I have
and
not.
just to say too, like preface this, I gave Bravo Team a positive review, not a glowing review. I gave it a 5.5 out of 10. I said it was mediocre. It does what it said it would do, and nothing more. And like Shug said, like the game is kind of mindless. Like there's no bosses. You just fight endless waves of terrorists. Like you don't fight harder. The hardest guys you fight are like armored guys.
It looks pretty good, though.
Once you see them once, you just see them again. No, and the game looks fine. I mean, the breaking immersion thing, whenever you move positions is terrible. And like I said, obviously I would assume it's harder to get rid of than we would think it would. But when you look at a game like I said, Planet of the Apes is the most obvious comparison. That did the exact same cover mechanic and got it right.
Yeah.
Fucking Planet of the Apes. Okay, now I'm swearing, guys. Sorry, now we're swearing.
I made that comment in my Planet of the Apes video that like some of the gun stuff was better. Like I was like, we're shitting on this game, but I'm like, one thing Planet of the Apes had is a great little. I love the way you could kind of crawl along your cover. Yeah,
well, and just transitioning from cover was in first person. Like I don't understand. I shouldn't say I don't understand. I do understand just because I've heard so much crap from Sony. Sorry, Sony, I love you, but I mean, you're whoever's approving these games and setting the rules to these devs for VR immersion and like sickness and stuff like that is just losing the plot here. Like you want to put options in. You want to put options in for third-person transitions. Fine, do it. But to just exclude first-person transitions is silly.
Medic.
Like it's just silly. Oh shit. Where the hell are you? I'm back. I'm back.
Am I just?
Oh,
I don't
know.
No, I got Carl on here, and he's going full Canadian on me. He's telling us to swear like Canadians, and he's saying fucking maple syrup and this and that.
Well, I swear once. So really, once it's out the gate, it doesn't really matter at this point. I typically keep my channel pretty G-rated, but
yeah, I have a pretty bad mouth, so I have to be careful because like if I start swearing, then it's just it's downhill.
We'll especially be AWOL nations in no time.
I was actually gonna say if I have AWOL in the chat, I'm fucked.
Oh, like, for sure. No, that guy, I wouldn't say ruins every stream, but he greatly affects every stream I do with him.
Oh, like he showed up for Esper.
Like, oh, we're swearing? Alright, fuck it, we're swearing.
Raphael says he's got his poutine and his Molson. Oh, dude, Molson, come on, don't bring that up. That's piss water.
Well, you're talking to a guy that doesn't even drink beer, so I don't give a shit what.
Well,
all that shit's piss water.
I don't drink beer anymore. Alright. What I was going to say to you about the game is, unless I'm losing my mind, did it always have a backpedal button where if you hit the circle, it actually goes back to your last cover spot?
Yes.
Huh.
I spent the whole game, like, just hitting 0 to go all the way back to the beginning of the level because the game had glitched out on me. And my AI partner was stuck in one position and would not move. And I couldn't find him. I just couldn't find him. And I finally found him, and he was stuck. I had to quit the level because the game wouldn't let me proceed. Where the hell's the ammo here? And so yes, I can confirm that button did always exist.
I still don't like the way they use the handgun. It just doesn't feel right with the aim. And I know.
Will? Sorry, keep talking, Chuck. Keep
that's all good. And I know that Firewall's probably gonna have that same weird sensation with the handgun. But Firewall's got a lot going for it. Like I know the hype train and all that, but like it is full locomotion. It is going to be like 4v4, which everybody wants. It does look like it's coming. I think it's like six levels off the get-go. They do plan to I think follow the Rainbow Six kind of rule book, where it's like to keep adding shit. But if the game lives,
Yeah, that's scary. Like just the amount of comparison between this and Rainbow Six, or this, sorry, Firewall and Rainbow Six scares me because it's setting itself up for failure. I'm getting murdered. I have no idea where that came from. I'm down.
Where are you?
There's a guy behind us. There's a guy behind me.
Okay, I'm backpedaling.
Oh, I can shoot him. I can shoot him. Yeah, I like that feature. I'm gonna, just because I'm talking right now. The game right now to me feels pretty much the same. The AI was a bit smarter till the guy snuck up on me. Maybe that's good because he snuck up on me.
Well, definitely got stuff behind us.
Yeah, I'm down again.
Well, and I'm trying to I'm hosing them from behind. I'm trying to. Okay. Shit.
I got these guys. Oh,
I don't remember them doing that before, so that's a good thing.
Coming behind?
Yeah.
I think we both came up the same side. That was our mistake. So yeah, just to reiterate here, Shug said that he feels the controls are better. They're a little bit tighter. I don't remember from my last play. I don't remember having difficulties, but I mean, I'll take Shug's word for it. I mean, they said they improved it, so I guess that makes sense.
You can turn. You can click turn left and right, which is nice. So that
there's the guy.
And the full reverse 180, which is always appreciated considering the type of game it is. Okay.
Well, I'm getting my ass kicked, so that's kind of nice, actually. It's a nice change of pace to actually struggle, so I'll take that.
Hang on, I'm just trying to clear
out.
Minor
improvements to anyone who's watching. The improvements are minor, but they are improvements. The game does play a little bit better. It's not gonna blow. It's not Call of Duty. Nothing has changed there, but it does play a bit smoother. And like we said earlier, playing with a friend is always good. I'm getting pretty red. They're gonna revive me.
Oh, I didn't know that it even timed out like that. Okay, I'm out of ammo, so I gotta go find some ammo.
Oh, I'm back now. Now that we've cleared up the.
Yeah. Don't worry, Daddy took care of you.
Thanks, bro.
I was gonna. So, yeah, I'm a little disappointed with the patch because the dev, one of the guys, I think it was one of the creative directors, actually showed up on Reddit a while back and said, "Look, like we know there hasn't been a patch. Like we've listened, we're taking a lot of stuff into account, and we're gonna try to fix a lot of things that you guys are like talking about. We're listening." And this is not what I thought they were going to do. Like, I was hoping that they were going to, because I don't know if you know the story, Ryan, but basically I heard from one of the employees that kind of went a little bit AWOL, who came out and said, basically, this is what happened with the game. The push was like AAA graphics, AAA graphics, AAA graphics. And they spent so much time on the graphics that they started to kind of run out of like money and resources, and they couldn't complete the vision, and there was disagreements over what that vision was going to be. And they scrapped like a ton of weapons that they were going to have. They scrapped locales. They scrapped like a lot of stuff that was going to like give the game like a lot more dynamics and interesting stuff to do, because they basically went all in on graphics and ran out of money. Oh, I think I just fucking killed you. I didn't even realize that was you.
Too. I was like, is that? Yeah, that's okay. That's
I'm like
okay.
I'm like, this guy's squishy.
That's funny.
Anyways, they were just saying that like that is basically what happened to the game, and that they ended up in a situation where they were like, well, shit. Well, we got to get this game out.
Yeah, no, and Kevgar just said the Eurogamer exposed the same thing, where basically this game, and not to mention too that they were also developing Inpatient at the exact same time.
That was the other thing.
Crazy press to get this game out by release date, and they basically, yeah, like you said, they had to cut so much stuff to make the release date that it just, it just killed their dream. And then, like you said, now, this patch doesn't fix the game. It improves upon that, but it doesn't fix the core issues.
I actually thought they might have I thought they might pull a fast one and go full locomotion, bring in some of the weapons, like complete some of the additional weapons, and then maybe just put it out like that. And
that is a dream, man. There's no way full loco is ever going to get in this game.
Well, I thought, it's not unreasonable that they could have given it full loco. Like, it can obviously handle full movement. You know what I mean? Like, well, maybe it can't. I mean, it does go to third person. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe they just cannot make these graphics move smoothly in first person. Because that was the problem with the abduction, right?
Yeah, I think this game was built to be like this, and to put in full loco would break the game. I think it'd be so much money to fix that, to make it that that it's not worth it.
Or
I mean,
the
they're better off making
or the
Bravo
graphic
Team 2,
or they do a graphic downgrade. Well, I
which
think
I don't want to see.
no, and I think a Bravo Team 2 would be a bad move because people are just burnt on the title. It's done.
No, making a sequel to this would be stupid. It's the equivalent of making like the second chapter to Loading Human. Like no one cares.
Well, let's not go that far.
You know what's funny is like I when I first started doing this, I mean we're talking back in October 2016.
Oh.
My whole plan just to kind of make ends meet was to sorry, I killed him before you got to him.
Thank you.
Was to trade in games.
Sorry, I saved your life.
I thought you were trying to stab him. But my whole plan when I first started doing this was to trade in games and like basically review a game, get rid of it, and then get some money, whatever money back I could, and then move on. I didn't realize at the time that everything for the PSVR would be digital.
Oh yeah.
So the few I bought Batman traded in, Loading Human traded in, and I regret it now because I can't get those games for cheap, and I hate to buy. I shouldn't say I got Batman again because it was on sale, but like Loading Human, like there's no world I'm going to be paid twice for that game. Like that's insane, but I can't get a cheap copy, and that game never goes on sale on PSN ever.
I don't even want to try it. I haven't tried it.
Well, I'm trying to like because when I first started doing this, I was just solely focused on on the website.
Yeah.
So I did zero YouTube stuff, right? So there's about almost a year period there where none of my reviews were on YouTube.
Oh, I see.
And so I'm trying to go back and revisit those, and not just review. Sorry, not just like review the games, but actually revisit the games, and just see how they've aged, how they've done. Like I just finished actually going through VR Worlds again, and I haven't played that. I mean, since launch, I've demoed that game 1,000 times.
We're talking about a
but I
bunch.
actually haven't.
Sorry, go ahead.
I haven't actually sat down and played VR Worlds in forever, and for the most part, it still stands the test of time. I'd love to go back and revisit all those old titles and see just where they stand now.
Like Rush of Blood still stands up.
Yeah, and there are games that do. Like even Batman. I mean,
Oh yeah, Batman.
I did not like I shouldn't say I didn't like Batman. I thought Batman was okay, but it was not a Batman game. Sorry, commenters, I'm kind of ignoring you right now. I promise to address your stuff. But yeah, Batman to me was not a Batman game. It was a Batman skin on like a CSI game. And I didn't quite dig that. But the presentation was astounding. I love the Arkham series. I got a little more Mark Hamill as Joker, which, I mean, I can never say no to that.
No.
So,
considering he was supposed to retire from the character, which was sweet.
I still haven't watched Killing Joke either, which is his last Joker, which I need to do. But so I gave the game like a positive score. I think I gave it a 6 out of 10. It was an hour experience, but like I said, that was back when VR first launched, and at the time too, like I was under such my own pressure to like get stuff out and review stuff. Like I was just spitting out stuff as much as I could, and just written stuff that I kind of missed a lot of stuff now, and totally ignored YouTube, which is my own folly looking back. That definitely didn't help my cause of becoming a global dominating VR force. But
yeah, I get that.
But I still support the site. I still love the written format. It's something I'll never get rid of. And to me, it's still I still see it's an advantage over like other YouTubers. I mean, even Frank started a website that last time I checked, it was dead. But he tried. And
yeah, I thought about it because I write all my reviews, right? Like I do all my scripts as reviews, so I could do it if I wanted to, but I just.
Dude, it's so time-consuming.
But that's what I was gonna say. Hey, I got a question for you about the game here. I noticed that my my aim controller drifts. The back butt drifts out a lot after a while. Like the butt stock.
I have that problem in so many games. I can never like pin it down to being a game or just I think it's shoddy PSVR firmware.
I think it's like. Do you think it's just the way the camera's set up? Because it's.
I think it's camera setup. I think it's lighting. I've heard low lighting can affect it. I've heard like high lighting can affect it. I've heard so many different things. I don't know what actually makes this thing work.
Well, I have a great tracking setup for the most part, but I do find aim controller issues.
Yeah, me too. I don't think there's one aim game where I've ever just been able to play smoothly, where I didn't have to constantly shake the controller to kind of reset it.
Farpoint was great with me when I first got it, and now I find that it still slips up too.
Yeah, no, I see the same thing. Even with Farpoint, I remember having like aim issues. I think it's just I mean, I think it's just the tech, man. I think it's just, however, they just can't get all these things to work. To have the light tracking and to pinpoint, and then we're talking about too. We're aiming down the sights with lights by the headset.
Yeah, I know.
Which I know, it's just, God, I wish. I know why Sony used these, like the light tracking. I totally understand why, because they had no idea where VR was going to land as far as like profit and shit like that. But I'm pretty done with the move controllers and the light tracking.
Yeah.
Like, it served its purpose, but give me some knuckle controllers now.
Oh shit.
But I mean, it is what it is. It's not going to change till PSVR 2. Assuming that happens, I'm assuming it will still, but we have no guarantees. So.
I'm pretty sure it will, though. There were some specs that got released a little while ago that were pretty much confirmed to probably be legit PS2.
Oh yeah, that Sony screen, yeah.
I don't know. This was like quite a bit of info that leaked. It was like it had like processor info and shit. And one of the things they were saying is that yes, like it does appear that there's PSVR tech baked into the
right.
Like not PSVR as far as a headset, but like everything that would be required for like the additional processing and like your breakout box basically is going to be baked in. One thing for you guys that are watching about tracking, if you're having tracking issues, I mean we've been talking about that, but here's a big thing that a lot of people don't understand. People are like, oh, should my camera be high? Should my camera be low? The biggest thing your camera should not be is like chest height or head height, because what happens is if you think about this, and if you guys are watching my screen now, I'll demonstrate. If you imagine the camera is kind of like head height, and you've got this, it tracks your gun, it tracks your head, but as soon as you bring your gun up to your head, if your camera is completely square in front of you, it cannot see the difference between your head and the gun bulb coming at you. And so what you want is an angle, because then it can pick up the headset and the gun. Or your move controllers, but mainly the gun because you're bringing. Oh, that's you. Sorry, damn it.
I know. I was trying to kill you, so it's okay.
Oh well, then I'm not sorry anymore. But anyway, so guys, keep that in mind that you want to try to keep a downward angle or even an upward angle so that it can see both the controller and the headset at the same time and not being blocked by one.
Shug is 100% right on that, except for the game No More Heroes. That game loves a low camera. I don't know why. Like,
well,
I really wish...
but a low camera is good too, as long as the angle's in there. Like, you want to be, if you're going to be low, you want to be like lower.
It's low. Like, it's got to be what the camera. When I had it placed, it was 2 feet above the ground.
Yeah, see, that would be that would work, right? Because at least it's looking up and it can see an angle shot of both things. But a lot of people have smaller TVs on TV stands, and they put the camera on their TV, and guess what height it sits at? Like head height.
Yeah.
I'm fortunate enough to have a big TV, and so it sits above my head. But like,
nope, me too.
And you talk about people who put on tripods or up on their walls, they often have better tracking.
And something I've noticed too is actually distance from your screen. Like the further back you go, the more it can see you. There's obviously a limit to that where it can't see you.
9 feet.
But I found like pushing that, like going to those limits makes for a way better experience. Like the camera can see your tracking way more. It just works seamlessly. Whereas even if you're 6 feet away, you're constantly hitting those camera edges.
Yep. But that is the sweet spot, 9 feet. Hey, as soon as you hit 9 feet, the camera actually can't, like it just can't see it anymore. You can actually see it. It just drops tracking. By the way, Seraphim just popped in and wants to talk about how big his TV is, and I don't think he's talking about his TV.
Yeah, I totally ignored Seraphim, so Seraphim, I apologize. You commented, and I was in the middle of talking, so I just totally ignored you.
So
I love you, Seraphim.
Yeah, see, now I see what happened. I get, like, Ryan's sloppy seconds here.
Well, not for much longer, man. You're already catching up, and you're going to surpass me soon, I imagine.
It's not like that. But what I'm saying is Seraphim obviously has his favorites. So here we go. Here's the blind fire. Which you gotta love.
I met Seraphim playing Bloody Zombies, actually. I didn't even know who he was. I went on there just to play a game and hooked up with him then. No idea. I had no idea he was a YouTuber. I just fucking joined up and was like, holy shit.
I actually got onto Seraphim pretty early on when I got my PSVR, because he was streaming some PSVR shit, but he was really into No Man's Sky at the same time, and I was kind of into that too. And I was like, this guy's fucking insane, but I really enjoy his shit.
Oh, Seraphim's a fucking nutcase. How do I turn here?
But I told him I told him I've caught myself at work asking people what's crack-a-lackin', and they just look at me.
I can't go back. I can't go back. Shit. All right, fuck this game.
Okay.
Yeah, no, and actually, I'm the exact opposite. I'm pretty. I never, before I started doing YouTube, I never watched YouTube. The only guy I knew of really was Frank, and you know, no offense to Frank, but I did not dig his shtick. I like Frank. I love Frank now. If you guys are watching, Frank is good for VR. Frank is awesome for VR.
He's also a really nice dude.
Ass. He's a super nice dude. Frank has helped me out. I shouldn't say helped me out. Helped like just the VR community out in general. And Frank is just a cool, awesome guy. With that said, I will say again, I didn't dig his shtick. I didn't know him. I was still like super new to like everything. Like I have no background in any of this shit. And he's the only guy I knew of.
Oh, I'm down.
I never, but I didn't. Oh shit! Where the hell are you? Hold on.
Behind the cop car.
Yeah, hold on. Oh, what the? I haven't totally fixed that. Jesus.
I'm just
you're gonna have to wait a second.
It's okay.
Here.
I'm shooting over my shoulder. No, I'm not. That's not working, but kind of working.
Well, the Amazing says Frank sucks, and you might not dig his shtick. I totally understand where you're coming from, Amazing, but I'm telling you, like, Frank is awesome. Like he's a cool guy who just loves VR. Anyways, like I said, I didn't dig his shtick. I didn't know about anybody else. I didn't know about Dave. I didn't know about Seraphim. I didn't know about anybody. I was kind of just in my own little VR bubble. And it wasn't until Preacher, shout out to Preacher Plays.
Really?
It wasn't until he kind of got us all together for, he tried to get us together for the first VR roundtable.
I knew that, actually. Yeah.
You did?
Yeah.
But, like, you know, Preacher Plays is a small VR YouTuber. He has, like, 200 followers, something like that. And that guy kind of brought together, you know, the smaller YouTuber community. You know, we're all Dave Station, AWOL, you know, Shug, Nat, from 7 Degrees of Gaming. All of us have kind of been in communication, just talking shit, man. And we were getting these streams together. Like I never would have ever talked to Shug. I doubt it. I shouldn't say it never, ever, but I wouldn't have ever gone on my way to contact Shug had this group not existed. So it's awesome. It's a great way for us to support the community. And I've lost my train of thought. Yeah, I never followed anybody. I wasn't aware of anybody. I didn't know, like I said, I didn't know Seraphim wasn't even a YouTuber, and it wasn't until this where I really started to kind of open my eyes. But just to keep rambling and just cut you off more and more, Shug. Part of that is because I don't like watching content about stuff I'm going to cover.
Yes.
Because I find it's so easy to get influenced, even just by accident. And I don't want to. Obviously, I don't want to overlap. Oh shit!
Yeah, we got company behind us. Oh
I
shit!
got one guy. The second guy got me. No, you're getting nailed. We're done. You got him. He's right there. I'm right behind you. I'm right behind you.
I know. I moved out of the way.
Yeah, heal up.
Where are you?
Right behind you. Right behind you. You're right.
I'm not healing up. I'm just going for you.
Sup, Seraphim? If you're watching, Seraphim, what's up? I got a lot of shouts from you on my channel here for you. So everyone loves you, you wacky son of a bitch. I have no ammo. Fuck. I didn't think about that. No. So yeah, so it's awesome to be part of the VR community, even more so. And,
yeah, it's a lot. There's a lot of good people in this community. Like not just creators, but like the community itself has a lot of like positivity. There's a lot less hate and bullshit, and just a lot less crap that you see a lot of like channels and just like interests groups period deal with. There's just I don't get a lot of like shitty comments in my videos, and it's just like it's a good group.
No, and I agree. I've never gotten like comments that just freaking had to unsub after that. I missed that Amazing. Why'd you unsub and who'd you unsub? Anyways, yeah, same thing. I've never really gotten like I've never personally experienced like true like just straight up hate for me. I mean, except the last guy I talked to there was I think Conks bashing me. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, the one the one guy I just talked to recently was basically just trashing VR, and he's like, you know, if these aren't going to deliver AAA experiences, why are we paying more for this shit? And I was like, dude, you don't, like, this isn't like another fucking console. This is a whole new way to experience gaming, and it's the first gen. Like, this is, if you bought into this, you're an early buyer, man. Like, you bought into this early. This whole first generation PSVR, Vive, Rift, even Go, Gear VR, all that jazz. It's all working out the kinks.
Oh, big time.
Everyone's trying to find their footing. Everybody's trying to find their footing. I mean, look at stuff now. Even like Exorcist Legion, that game is. It has blinders, unoptional blinders. Like, we are now basically 2 years deep into this kind of VR, and we're still running these kind of problems. Like, it's still, everyone's still trying to figure out what people want. Well,
that's Sony though. They are really scared to, like, because being kind of the more casual VR for everybody. They are so scared to let people, like, you know, they're so afraid people are going to get sick, which is unfortunate because a lot of the people that are like hardcore VR people, they don't feel like they're being catered to, so that's unfortunate.
No, and that's exactly where I was going to lead into is the fact that these, like, the headset developer, I mean specifically Sony in this case, is basically holding back their own headset. I mean, I don't understand why Sony, like, you know, I've heard from many devs that Sony. I'm going to go left here. I hope don't die.
Okay, I'll go right.
I don't understand why Sony doesn't make devs make things optional. It just seems like whenever, like, I'm assuming the way the process works is that the devs give Sony a game, their guys look it over and be like, oh no, it's gonna make us sick, don't do it. And then, instead, it seems like instead of Sony saying put the option in, it does seem to be like Sony says, like, no, you need to make it so it's only click turning or only blinders, and. Like, why?
I know that's happening. I've had developers. I've been talking to the email. Have straight up told me that in the development process, Sony basically said this is what you need to do, and it wasn't until like post certification process when they could like basically sneak it in a patch. So people wonder why aren't they? People are like, why aren't they patching these? Like when they like can pretty much have it on already like a week later. It's like because in some cases they have it ready and they know they just have to patch it in.
Yeah, I mean, Code 51's a pretty good example. I mean, even Pirate Fight was another good example.
That's actually who told me.
No, and that's exactly why I brought it up. Where like he was kind of the big guy. And now we're just shut. I hope to God this is okay. But he basically said the reason why blinders existed in his game was because Sony said you need to put them in there because all their dev team got sick, or dev team. Sorry, all Sony's like quality assurance team. I'm down.
Yeah, well,
there's a guy behind us.
I know, I saw that. Their quality insurance guys, they need to, like, I don't know. They need to hire AWOL.
Right? They do. Shout out to AWOL, by the way. AWOL's kind of been off the map here since this Skyrim video, but they do, and it's sad that, like, it's sad that Sony brought us this amazing treasure of a headset. And like I said, as much as it sounds like I bash Sony, I fucking love Sony for this shit, man. Like, Sony has made has made VR available to the masses and done, I mean, a pretty good job all around. I mean, you know, obviously you could improve a lot of, you know, here and there. But
real VR to the masses, that's the thing, right?
And that's exactly it. And then, but then they go in and basically minimize it. I'm losing my words here, but they're restricting their own product instead of like being what it could be. There's blinders and click turning, and it's not options put in by devs. It's options put it's options put in by Sony that are forcing this. Christopher, sorry, I'm kind of side back. Christopher, you're right. More games are supporting full locomotion, but many more just don't. Just straight up. Don't, and it's because of Sony. Like games that, I mean, Exorcist again is a perfect example because Exorcist had no blinders on the PC version of the game.
Yeah.
And when it came to the PSVR version of the game, blinders. And there's only one reason for that, and it's Sony. And I don't mind. Like, I understand. I took some impartial surveys on Reddit a while ago, and I'd say roughly 30% of PSVR users actually do like comfort settings.
I'm all for comfort settings. I just want the choice.
And that's exactly my point too. Is why don't we have the choice? Like it doesn't have to be one or the other. And for some reason, Sony seems to think in some cases that it is, or they're not communicating properly that you can put the option in. And these devs are forcing these restrictions on games that don't need to be there, or at least should be optional.
Where are we going?
This way. I think we cleaned this area up.
Yeah, I don't know where I'm going.
I need a drink, man. I'm losing my voice.
So yeah, but here's the problem that you run into, and this kind of like brings us full circle, is that you've got Firewall. Now that is an interesting dilemma that they have, is that is a mass, like they're going for like a full online, hoping to have like a large community, and people bitch, well, it looks like it's going to be slow, and I've heard there's no run feature, and the reason there's no run feature is that Sony, and obviously I would imagine the devs being influenced, are afraid that people are going to be like, oh, it makes me sick, I don't want to play this. So they take the run feature out, and they straight up said in an interview that there won't be a run feature because they need balancing issues. Because if some people can run and some people can't handle the running feature, I guess I guess hats off. They're already sticking their guns and making it full locomotion, like mandatory. But still, it's like, God damn it! Because I know the people who are going to be playing this game a month later are going to be the people who want to just like rock full VR.
No, but you brought up a totally valid point. There is that difference. Like there are guys who play VR on a regular basis. I missed one of your comments there. A guy who hates PSVR. Say it again. I'll comment on it. Yeah, but there is that disconnect. There is, and it's not a small portion. There is a large portion of people that need comfort settings.
Yes.
And I understand Sony's need to accommodate that. And what you just brought up is a really good example of what I don't know what the solution is for that. Like, what do you do to make an online shooter where guys can't handle motion? I don't know what the solution is for that.
Well, I think the solution is not in this generation, because if any of you guys who follow VR tech, there's been talks about the next gen having eye tracking built into the headset, which supposedly can do shit to your eyes on a level that you can't tell, not unlike, say, shutter glasses in 3D, so that it can trick your brain into like being cool.
Yeah.
But that's not now.
No, it's funny because I remember even reading, like when I first started, like I said, before my first headset, the Gear VR, I didn't follow
only two-player,
tech
Adam.
closely.
Sorry, man.
I just played games, like, whatever I wanted to play, I just played. No question about it. And it wasn't until I invested in VR, fell in love with VR, and then kind of started following the tech. Like, the amount of innovation out there is insane. But we're so early. Like, you can't, like, what Shug just said about the eye tracking and not just eye tracking, but focus tracking, where it can tell where your eyes are focusing and adjust that image and make it basically. Whoa, buddy, calm down. What are you doing over here? But all that tech is still ages away, and the second thing about tech is money. People hear about this tech coming like it's like oh well, it'll be next year. That's still like early dev tech that costs like thousands. These companies have spent thousands and thousands of dollars to like develop a prototype. They now have to like market to the masses for a price you guys won't bitch about. Like there's a huge.
Yeah, I know. That's the problem.
It shouldn't be a problem, but for some reason, I shouldn't say for some reason, but with VR, people expect it. And I'm going to come back to that conversation I had on YouTube, where the guy was like, if these guys can't deliver AAA games on a VR headset, games should be half the price.
Yeah, well, but they cost twice as much to make.
They cost twice as much as and that's exactly it. It's like, and this isn't. They're not just they're not just clicking the VR button and releasing the game. They're developing a game for a brand new medium, and it's a brand new medium to experience games. It's not just putting on a headset and now you're playing Halo in VR. They have to build these games from scratch, and make them work for like putting the screen right to your eyeballs and having your vision be able to focus on two separate images and be able to extrapolate that information to your headset running to like it boggles my mind. I mean,
well,
I'm so immersed now.
But the depth though too, right? That's what people don't understand. It's same with like 3D movies and shit. It's processing dual images at the exact same time. That's
shorter images amazing, shorter text amazing. You're cutting off. But no, you're exactly right. It's all about the depth but people like say non-VR looking in especially. But I can't stand when guys. I'll let you talk, Chuck. I keep cutting you off.
No,
sorry,
it's all good. No, I'm good.
you're exactly right. These games are way more immersive. Like if you ever
I'm
experienced
down, by the
VR
way.
and you bitch about, yeah, I see that. If you ever played VR and you bitch about VR, you need to shut the fuck up. I understand your points outside looking in, but unless you've put a headset on your head, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And I love you, and I know you're like trying to be part of the community, and I get that, but you need to try VR before you bitch about VR. You have to.
And real VR too. That's the thing. Like, you got to figure out what some the good experiences are, and then go try those. Because, yeah, even this game, for all the people's bitching, is, dear God. Like, if you've never experienced this, like, I'm holding a fucking assault rifle, like, and I'm looking at you, and I'm playing with you in the internet, and I see you, and you're looking at me, and I'm playing in a full realized world with a gun that I'm holding in the game and in the real world. It's crazy that we're here.
On the off chance you're watching this and you don't know like what the fuck we're talking about, this is VR is new to you. Like, I'm literally holding my hand the PlayStation VR aim controller. What the aim controller is a basically two-handed rifle in real world. Like, I'm holding where you see my hand in VR, my hand is holding that gun in the real world. Like, I'm holding a fucking gun. It's moving where I want it to go, and I'm not playing a first-person shooter. I am in a first-person shooter, and like, if this is Bravo Team, this is not the best VR first-person shooter, and I'm telling you, like, I've been waiting like 36 years for this shit to be invented, and now that it's here, I love it. I can't stand people bitch about this shit. Like it's just like, oh, VR should go away. VR is bullshit. VR is, it's a fad. This is the future, boys and girls, and if you're not seeing that, you are out of touch.
Yeah, but the people who bitch about like that, they either haven't tried it or they're scared that it's going to take away their comfort zone in gaming. And it is going to. That is the thing. Like, once you've played Farpoint, and even this game, like, say you're a shooter fan, it's a huge chunk of the community, and I think that's why everyone's hoping that Firewall is going to do amazing, is because if it nails it, it could be a game changer in many ways. For people, because shooters sell. And when you play Farpoint...
Oh, I'm down!
I'm right there. Oh, this guy's got a shotgun. When you play Farpoint, and then you go back to, like, say something like, I'll use a popular one, Halo, you can't help but just be like, I'm watching someone play it on the screen now. And I was in the world before. This is bullshit. And it makes flat screen gaming boring to me. I mean, yes, there's some amazing games out there, and I'm not this, like, hate on flat screen games, but they definitely are, like, boring now.
No, so many games have lost their appeal to me. Like, since I started doing this, and I haven't played. I honestly haven't played a first-person shooter since playing in VR, and I mean, part of that is definitely being burnt out on first-person shooters. I just bought Wolfenstein, the New Order, for my new gaming rig, my PC headset or my PC rig. So I'm hoping that'll, it's supposed to be awesome.
It is. I love that.
But yeah, it's so hard. It's so hard to go back, even with move controllers. Like, move controllers suck, but they're awesome because I'm holding my gun in my hand. I'm holding two weapons in my hands and aiming down the side. Like, they're amazing. And to go back to playing a game where you're just aiming down the sights with a controller, like hitting X to zoom or hitting R2 to zoom, it's not the same at all. Like, it's so... VR is so much better than that, and it's not even better. Farpoint is a weak game. Outside of VR, Farpoint would be an absolute kind of a shitty game. Sorry, I love you guys,
but it would.
But in VR with the aim controller, it is mind-blowing how immersive it is. When you, like I said, Farpoint was the first game with the aim controller, and when I looked down the sights, I'm pretty sure I just laughed in joy. It was just straight up just like, oh my god, I'm aiming down the sights in a video game. Like, the last time I did that was in, what's that, Super Scope? Super Scope? I think, no, not Super Scope. That's the arcade sniper game that was fucking probably 15 years ago now.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking. Silent Scope.
Silent Scope, thank you very much. Like, that's the last time I experienced that, man. Even stuff like Virtual Cop and all that stuff was still, like, a big screen in front of me. Nice work, Jason. Spiders are awesome. But this is that. Like this is it's crazy. The resistance. Oh shit! I'm down again. However, first gen. I call this generation of VR first gen. It's not entirely true, but it is.
It is. Just sorry to cut you off there because I've been meaning to jump onto this point forever.
Sorry, go.
Shuhei Yoshida, who, for you guys who don't know, is the head of worldwide Sony Studios, like the PlayStation side, and he's actually a pretty decent dude, and he's pretty grounded, and he's talked about, and he's a big PSVR proponent. You actually probably can thank him for having PSVR. Anyways, he basically said we are at the PlayStation 1 stage of PSVR, like where it's like, oh my god, we are doing 3D graphics. It's, you know, and we're bringing it to the home, like we're bringing the arcade home basically, and that's what the PlayStation 1's kind of mission statement was, and adult entertainment, that as well. But the thing that's interesting is that, like, so when it came out, it was like there was nothing better. Even PC, especially at the time, really wasn't a big jump from like what console was doing then. Not really, not like PC gaming isn't what it became. It was still very much Command and Conquer, and but now it's like it's hard for some people, I think, because yes, we are at the PlayStation 1 stage of PSVR. I'm down, but it's like PlayStation 1, but PlayStation 3 is available, and so people have to come to PlayStation VR understanding that there's sacrifices to like be here right now in like this world. It's not gonna be 4K.
No, but that's the thing, and that's it's bizarre to me that that's the expectation. Like we literally just got 4K technology within the last couple of years, and for some reason now that's the expectation for VR. Like why isn't this 4K? Like I mean, considering like 30% of the population even owns a 4K television, most major media streaming outlets just started actually publishing 4K content. And you're like, why isn't this screen strapped 2 inches from my face to 4K?
I know, it's tough.
It's crazy. It's crazy. It's so you can't even talk to people who don't get it because they don't get it.
Well, and it's also VR in its essence is a PR nightmare because
yes,
it's
Jason,
like.
You're right.
Jason, you are right. I don't know what you're right about, but you're right.
Sorry, he keeps talking.
I'm getting the same thing. But and my buddy Mike, who popped in there briefly, asked like if we have any idea what the sales are like outside of the UK and like say North America. I don't really know how this is doing in Japan. I think it's doing okay. The Asian store seems to be getting.
It's supposed to be awesome. By my accounts, PSVR in Japan is supposed to be really popular, very popular. More popular than North America.
And it probably is because let's look at it this way. The reason. Okay, let's put it, I like 3D. I have 2 3D TVs. I prefer to watch 3D movies in 3D. Yeah, I know. I prefer to watch my movies in 3D, and that's pot calling kettle, by the way. And
that's why I said it.
Yeah. And anyways, what I was gonna say is that the only reason, and North America's got a real hate on for 3D shit, but the reason that you still have it in every single Marvel movie out there and pretty much every other blockbuster is because Japan loves that shit.
Oh, I'm down.
So it makes sense that they'd be all over VR.
Yeah, Kev just said 3D movies still sell well overseas. Like that's we're down. We finally died. I can't believe that.
No, I'm alive. I'm alive.
We reset.
Did we?
We did.
Well, there you go.
But yeah, whereas like you said in North America, like 3D gaming and 3D movies, like as far as like releases and TV and shit like that, dead. It's dead. And thank God I didn't buy into that craze. This game is doo-doo. Arctic Breeze, this game is not doo-doo. This game is like half doo-doo.
It's
and
like
it's better with a friend. It's better with a friend. But honest to God, like if Shug wasn't here, I would have quit a long time ago because I've been doing the same thing now for what, like an hour?
Yeah, I've got the same 2 guns.
Right? Like this game has not, other than the scenery changes, this game hasn't changed one iota. We're just shooting endless waves of dumbass terrorists.
Yeah, and they're not that much smarter.
No,
I'd say the only thing we've really seen is they have come behind us, and I would imagine that could also be an AI change that they felt more comfortable implementing because they put the click turning in.
Well, the only time they came behind us is when we both went the same side. So I wonder if that's just so much more exploiting our stupid.
It could
humans.
be, but we've seen it come behind us a couple times. I think I've saved your ass more than a few times.
Excuse me? Excuse me?
You didn't even know because I saved you.
Okay, hold on, Shug. Arctic Breeze, how is this game not half doo-doo? I'm sure Shug will chime in here, but this game isn't awful. And like I said, if you just joined us, we just finished expunging just how awesome FPSs and VR are. But you still get to shoot guys down the sights.
Yeah, I will, Kevin.
With a rifle. Like it's a limited VR title, but it works for what it does, what it tries to do. Like this game isn't 100% trash. There is value in Bravo Team. It's just not what people expected. It's basically a single-player experience. If you want to play with a buddy, you can have a buddy, but it's just endless waves of bad guys, and that's a genre, man. Look at Time Crisis. Look at, how many other games just have you pitted against endless waves of the same guy? This is the same thing. Those games have value. I'm not saying this is like spend $40 on a physical disc value, which I did, but if this was for sale for $15, I'd pick it up. You're gonna have fun, man. Find a buddy online. It's not awful. Like it's a competent shooter when you're in shooter mode. It just does nothing special. So I guess that's my final 2 cents. Nothing's really changed. It's competent, but does not really try anything too new, other than the fact it's a VR shooter that supports aim, which by that standard still isn't a bad thing.
Well, you know what? And here's I'll put my 2 cents in too. One of the things that VR gets blasted for is that it's all tech demos. This does not help that. This does not help that kind of like feeling. But it is a bloody good tech demo. Like it looks really good. There's they put their money in graphics, and you can tell. It feels half. It doesn't feel like a fully realized shooter. But like now, especially with the update, it looks good, it tracks good. The gunplay is fine. Like Ryan said, it's pretty much like a really good wave shooter because you can kind of move through the world. Like Mortal Blitz didn't get the shit that this game did, and this is a much better game than Mortal Blitz. And
absolutely.
And it's basically, and it really is. It's like a grounded Mortal Blitz because you really just click through that world too. It's just that it looks so good that it started to get lumped in with much bigger games. Like I guess if anything, its biggest fault is that it looked too good. Because it started to get comparisons to games that it didn't deserve to be compared with.
Well, not just looked too good; it was also priced high.
But it has the graphic. Like
I'm down, by the way.
Okay, but and that's unfortunate. This we just go back to what we talked about. Is like, did it cost too much? No, it didn't. Not really. Not if you consider the amount of money that probably went into this to make it look like it does. I just died. Right. Like to the amount of money that they probably put into this, I wouldn't be surprised if that price point is very realistic. But again, it's a perception thing. In what are people willing to pay? Like what do they think they should cost? And they see, 5 hour, or if it's even a 5 hour campaign, repetitive.
No, this is like 2.
Yeah, but like they see like a short campaign, repetitive. Looks good, but that's about it. And it's like I'm not paying $40 for that. It's like, well, how much did you spend at the bar the other day?
No, it's all relative, and like a basis for how I value games, not entirely, but a basis is movie time.
Yep.
So like an hour and a half for a movie will cost me $15. So I kind of base my entertainment value on that a bit, not entirely, but a bit.
No,
and
that's
I've come
what
around
people
recently.
do.
But I've come around recently with VR because there seems to be kind of a, and this is on PC and PSVR, and there are exceptions to what I'm about to say, so don't yell at me. But we've been getting a lot of generic indie content, lower titles, $15, $10, a lot of it. Where I'm sure the ratio, when compared to flat titles, is just is out to lunch, and so Exorcist is where I was going. Where Exorcist gives 100% AAA presentation.
Yeah,
Smaller game
amazing.
for sure. The levels are tiny. Each episode's only like 15, 20 minutes long, maybe 25 if you're a little bit slow. But
I'm not slow. Don't talk like that.
But for what that game delivered in visual and audio fidelity, I gave it props because we haven't been seeing that. We've been seeing, you know, I'll bring up Pirate Flight again now. Where Pirate Flight is actually a pretty solid, you know, beginner like little like flight game, but it doesn't look like it should. You know, it looks like a budget Wii game.
Yep.
And
nailed it. Yeah, totally.
And but the game itself is great, or it shouldn't be great. The game itself is okay, and since he released his new patch, the game's better for it because it did offer a little more extreme controls as far as like you can now do like loops and shit like that.
Yeah.
But with that being said, if no one in their right mind is going to look at Pirate Flight and think, well, now I need to get VR, like this is it, and we've been seeing so much of that.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't help.
No, and there's a ratio. I understand like the need for indie stuff to exist. It should exist. I mean, as much as I'm now trashing it, I've played games I never would have in a million years because of this headset, and I've loved some games I never played in a million years.
Well, some of the best games on here are, I'd say most of the best games on here are actually indie games. They are. I'm down.
Yeah, they all are.
Like,
Okay.
I'll get recent standout in my brain is, I mean, I guess Moss is probably even still considered indie, but more to the point is To the Top, which I think was a fantastic VR game.
I'm down.
You let us down.
You did first.
I know I did. But I don't know if you heard, I said To the Top was definitely like, you know, like one of those games where it was like, I don't think that was made by a lot of people.
No, absolutely. Are you down already? Oh,
No, I am not. Just shush.
No, totally, Kev. Like I said, now I'm trashing indies, but I'm telling. I love the indies. It's my issue now, Kev, is the ratio. Is we're now getting so many indie titles and so few like games people outside of VR want to talk about. It's becoming a larger issue. I mean, the games we're looking for now, Firewall,
Persistence.
Oh,
I'm down.
Persistence, all those games came out, or all those games were announced over a year ago, and we're still looking forward to those without very little on the horizon after those ones. And that's my issue, is there seems to be a lull in bigger titles. And we're kind of being forced to suffer. Not suffer. I'm using really bad words. I do apologize. But we are getting just a huge bulk of games that just aren't amazing. I'm down. And it's starting to become
I'm going to be down
that's-
too. I am going to be. I got.
Okay, we gotta stop. We gotta coordinate a bit better here. We're just going our own way here. I'll try to.
All right.
I'll stick beside you.
Okay.
I'll keep talking here. But yeah, and like I said, my problem is on the horizon are a bunch of games we already heard about 6 months to a year ago.
Totally, Kevy.
And after that is nothing. We haven't heard of anything new.
Yeah,
In
I
a
guess.
while. Like Firewall's been talked about forever. I mean, the Transference. I mean, that was announced last E3. Like, that's my concern. Is oh, I missed that comment. Sorry, I know it was a good one. Yeah, there isn't. It just seems like guys who are committed early on are ducking out, and what we're getting left is more and more indie stuff. And it's just it's a bad ratio. I guess what I'm getting at right now it's not a bad ratio. It's an off ratio.
Well,
We need some bigger stuff.
so I've said this before. I said this before. You know, I even had the channel. VR. Let's just stick with PSVR because it's kind of like our jam.
Yeah.
Needs its golden eye.
Yeah.
It does, because that's. I don't. Kevy's. I think it's going the PS Vita route. I don't think it's going the PS Vita route. I think
No.
that what you're seeing is that unfortunately, this PSVR came out halfway through Sony's PS4 lifespan, and tech is changing fast. And I think that's another thing that people have a hard time understanding is that like console generations just aren't going to be as long anymore. They're just not, and hence the PS4 Pro and the Xbox One X. But I think that what you're also seeing is like, and this is kind of ties in with what Ryan was just saying, is that it seems like Sony's not supporting this past the next year, and in some ways they probably kind of are winding down, but they're not winding down VR.
Not to say not supporting, but kind of just taking a step back is what I mean to say. Like they're obviously supporting it,
but they're
not quite doing it as much as they were at the onset.
But I'm gonna bet you that there's not a lot of big third-party shit booting up right now for the PS4 either. Like, you know, like I'm gonna guess that what you saw at E3 and heard about E3 is probably like some of the last big stuff you're gonna really hear about. Like 2019 will be the PS4's, I think, last year of big games. Like next E3 you will be hearing about the PS5. And so once they put that out there, people become gun shy about like, you know, like really investing anything anywhere else, whether that be the consumer or the devs. So I'm just saying, I think we're seeing a natural lifespan end. Like the PSVR was originally made as just a like basically let's make this and see if we can. They weren't even going to go into production with the thing. And Shuhei Yoshida was actually one of the reasons that actually happened. But like, so it's like, you know, people like to jump on the. I just died too. Fuck me.
Wow, we are just. If you're watching the stream, at this point, I'm going to apologize. So we've done this section about 6 or 7 times now.
I'm not apologizing. No. Anyway.
I apologize, but we are too busy talking about shit.
Anyway, so yeah.
Stuff, guys.
Well, but anyways, I just think, you know, that's kind of the, you know, it's kind of the industry where it's at right now. I mean, there is a lot of like, I would say like, let's just like the next like say, I don't know, let's say 6 to 8 months. You've got Star Child, you've got Beat Saber, you've got Gollum, you've got that.
Whoa, you can't say Gollum.
Well, I'm saying Gollum because I think it's got to show its face this year.
No, it does not. Fuck. That game is it's not going to happen. That game is myth.
Well, I'm still holding out. I think it's going to happen. I have a feeling. So let's just say, you know, then Persistence and Firewall and, you know, Ace Combat is, you know, even though they didn't really give it a release date at E3.
Shit, to the left.
Yeah, I see it. I think that like that's another big game that's coming. I'm hoping that part of the delay is, oh yeah, Blood and Truth. Thanks, man. I was not actually done my list, but I was going to forget that. Blood and Truth's another big one, you know. I think that, again, but Blood and Truth, they better market themselves well or they're going to get another fucking Bravo team. I can't walk!
Dude, and that's exactly, dude, it's already happening. Absolutely, Jason, PSVR 5 backwards compatible. I think it's going to happen. I'm optimistic that's going to happen.
What is it? What do you think he means by that?
Well, I mean, basically the PSVR 5 or PS5's gonna run PSVR out of the box.
I think I think that PSVR. I think PS5 is going to. I think this is here's my suspicion. I'm pretty sure Sony is going to launch the PSVR 2 and the PSVR 5 together as an optional bundle, or at least what they're going to do is they're going to make it very well known that the PSVR 2 is coming to it. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if the box says like coming soon PSVR 2. Like, as far as like letting people know what they're committing, what they're up for if they buy this box, that they're gonna, you know, that VR is a promise. I think because and like the fact that the specs are saying that it might be baked in, like at least the tech into, not the headset obviously, but the tech. I think that what I was getting at with my backwards compatibility question was, I know a lot of people are like, oh, I really hope that they make it so that like my current headset can play the PSVR or the PSVR 2 content. That's not going to happen. Because
no, absolutely.
And a lot of people think it's going to, and I'm like, it is absolutely not going to happen, because they're going to go with a completely different tracking situation.
They better. They absolutely better.
They will, and we've also seen enough patents to know where their head's at too.
Right, absolutely.
So it's not like it's just not going to happen. Your PSVR headset will stay with your PS4.
Okay, I'm to your left right now. Let's try to play this smart here because
you got guys. Do you see them here? I'll stay on the right. You stay on the left, maybe.
But yeah, no, you're totally right. I do think
yeah, they
PSVR.
better,
I don't think you're right about it being available at launch. I doubt PSVR 2 will be available at PSVR 5's launch or PS5's launch. Jeez, this is really confusing. Just because it's too much.
Oh, and that's why I kind of backpedal. I don't think you're necessarily going to see it at launch. I think it's going to be mentioned at launch. I think so people understand they're buying a PS5 and they're buying a future VR system down the road. I think it's going to be.
Yeah.
They're going to know.
Expect,
like a summer. Like I wouldn't even be surprised if it was like launch in November, PS5, and summer launch, or at least the next year for PSVR 2. But
yeah,
I'm gonna
within 6 months to a year, a window where they'll give us people a chance to play the PS5 and then buy the PSVR 2. I agree with that. I hope. I agree / hope for that anyways.
Like but they've also like it depends. You never know what rumors to believe, and the market, the current market of VR, is also going to dictate. I think what Sony's next move is too. So a lot of us PSVR guys like to shit on PC VR and stuff. Well, we better fucking hope PC VR does well.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I won't shit on PC VR any more than I will PSVR. I mean, PC VR is where the innovation's happening. There's no question about that. Those guys are trying new things, new control types.
Well, they don't have an aim controller.
They don't, and that's dude. I was just gonna say, it's crazy that they don't. I know there's a couple of stocks out there that kind of do something similar, but the aim controller, the aim controller for me is it's a system seller when it comes to VR because
I couldn't believe it when Sony made it. I can't believe they made a gun controller for like 2 million people that was like 1 million people at that time. It's like, good for you guys.
It's fucking amazing.
I mean, and they have supported it pretty well.
No, and they've done a good job. I wish there was more AIM titles, but I wish there was more higher quality AIM titles. Sorry.
Yep.
I mean, we got it in, stuff like Dick Wild. I mean, it worked.
But unfortunately, it becomes the same problem of the games that they would really benefit from. The system has a very hard time running.
Absolutely, no. I'm just saying I wish for more. I'm not saying I understand the reasons why. I'm just saying I wish for more. But I mean that's like saying I wish that PSVR had an install base of 30 million people, and we would see, like the big games come out. Like I understand it's not the case, but it should be. Goddammit, it should be.
Did I get him?
No, he ran off.
Damn it! I tried to be stealthy for once.
Your stealth failed like shit.
Yeah, I know.
Stealthy like AWOL stealthy. I'm fucking coming for you, motherfuckers! Oh shit, they heard me.
Yeah, well, anybody who played the old Rainbow Six Vegas, that's basically the way AWOL plays. Bitch took my money! Every time you turn a corner, it's like, well, there's a bad guy. Team. Go ahead, sorry.
So, no, as I say, back to Bravo team. So now we're like, an hour and a half deep into this stream. How you liking Bravo team?
It's boring. It's still boring.
Right?
And I'm having fun with you, but it's still like, let's put it this way: we've been able to get through more than half the game, and we are talking our asses off. But I promised Kevy, he popped in, he's been in here and he's been chatting us up, and he asked me he asked me what they changed. Well, Kevy, I will tell you what they said they changed. They said they changed the AI to make it better and more dynamic. They said that they added turning abilities. This is the turning ability. It's a click turn on the back thumbstick of the
I'll do it in
aim.
mine too.
Yeah, depending on what you're watching. They changed the scale of the gun, which they did. That feels good. They said they did some fine-tuning of mechanics of said aiming. Yeah. They did. It does feel good. The AI is still like borderline retarded. They're not very smart.
Yeah, I'd say the only thing with the AI was basically change it from being like ridiculously retarded to moderately retarded. Like they just kind of fixed the issues that made it like glaringly obvious that they were dumb. To now they're just mindless lemmings that just find cover and shoot you.
You can still see the patterns coming a mile away. So and I mean maybe if we bumped up the difficulty we'd see slightly better, but I'm gonna guess their aiming is just gonna get better. And
I would assume it's just damage. Yeah, damage ramps up.
Right, so that's the main stuff. Yes, there are difficulty settings, Kevy. Ryan set up the game, but he was calling them out at the time. So I believe the difficulty settings were always there. Oh, you damn it! Oh,
where are you? Oh,
I get him. You gotta love blind fire. Anyway, so that's pretty much the gist of what they changed. Nothing hugely major. It's they just polished the turd. It still looks good. I think it maybe looks a little bit better. Maybe a little bit sharper.
Does it?
Maybe a little bit.
I don't know.
I think it looks a little bit sharper. I can still see a little bit of... I'm on a Pro, and I can still see... I don't know if you've noticed it, but you can see a little bit of a halo, graphic-wise. Like, if you look outside of your direct front view, and you move your head, you can actually see the graphics blur on the outsides. That's like Robinson the Journey used to do that before they got a Pro patch.
Lots of games do that.
I would imagine... Ryan, are you on a Pro?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so... this is on.
You can totally see that still. It's not quite that bad, but yeah, you do see the halo effects for sure. Especially when there's like ambient lights around, like these street lights, you can kind of see them really chopping in.
When you're playing, you don't notice. I mean, the game always looked pretty decent. I mean, it really does look good for a PSVR game.
Are you down?
I am, but I still got my handgun. I just killed that guy.
There's one guy above you. Oh, two guys.
So yeah, Kevy, if you've been on the bubble about buying this game. Well, you know, it's still not exactly. It's nothing game-changing.
No, I mean at this point, it's a price thing. I mean, I've been with you. There are some slight changes, but not enough to change the game in a significant way at all. It's still Bravo Team. They added click turning, which is nice because you don't got to turn your body, but they're small additions to what should have been, you know, a better game. It's still honestly to me, if they would have fixed that third-person transition, even make it first-person, still like locked to a camera, it would have made a world difference. But this is still the same game.
Yeah, unfortunately,
I'm
pretty sure this is going to be its last update, which is unfortunate because I was hoping for the big update, and I think this is it.
Yeah. On that note, actually, I'm gonna cut this off where we're at here because I think we spent enough time with Bravo Team. People know nothing's changed.
Sounds like a plan.
But we've been talking for an hour and a half. It's been awesome, Shug. This has been a great conversation. I love just vomiting out VR content and VR talk. I can't do it often enough with people around me. So this is great. Thanks for all the commenters who joined in. So I couldn't get to all of you, but we're just having too personal of a conversation about VR, so Shub, take it away.
Anyways, guys, yeah, Ryan basically stole all my verbiage, but thanks for tuning in. Thanks for you that are participating in the chat and watching Ryan and I totally nerd out in VR. I am Chris from Shughead Gaming, and that is Ryan from the VR Grid. And guys, stay tuned to check out both of our channels. If you guys are just tuning in to see what's up with Bravo Team, we both do lots of PSVR content. That is our jam. Have a good night, guys.
Have a good night, guys.